Okay, we're talking about independence in life and building real independence. And when it comes to building independence, the first thing that we got to talk about is getting your finances in order. Financial freedom is success. Financial freedom gives you time. And in my experience, the problems that you can't solve with money, you can solve with time. And so when you have financial freedom, you get both, and you have a better life and you're independent. So financial freedom is the key. All right, well, if we're talking about financial freedom, we have to talk about the fact that first, you gotta get debt-free. Debt freedom is the building block to the foundation of your wealth house that builds financial freedom and then goes on to build massive wealth. I'll tell you a story in a little bit about a gentleman who built incredible wealth just by setting aside a portion of his income every single time he was paid before he spent even a dime. The fact of the matter is that that's where you got to start. If you have any kind of personal debt, the first thing you got to do is crush that by figuring out how you can live on less than you're living off of now. Get rid of whatever. To me, it's really when you get down to looking at your budget, it's the extras that you find you can get rid of. You can stop eating out as much. You can stop doing this. You can stop watching Netflix. Whatever. Do whatever you need to do to get a portion of your money going towards crushing that debt over and above the payments that you're making. So you start getting rid of that. You chip away at it little bit by little bit. And eventually what will happen is first, you stop and dig in that hole, right? And so you can begin to climb your way out of it. And when you get out of it, then you're on a level playing field and you can start from and begin to build your wealth, okay? Begin to get financially free. So that's really step one, is debt freedom. Now once you're debt free, we got to talk about you digging your well before you're thirsty. Because when you're talking about financial freedom, most people are absolutely either overwhelmed by the idea or so giddy with excitement over the idea that you want it tomorrow. I'll tell you, when I was a kid, my dad allowed me to attend a stock market seminar with him when I was like 11 years old. It was something I wanted to do because my dad was doing it. But I didn't realize it at the time how much it was going to change my life. The course of my life was changed, not because I understood the stock market. I went to that class and probably didn't understand half of the information that man talked about. I didn't even trade until I was much, much older. So none of that information I actually was able to apply, except the idea that man said, that teacher, that mentor, said if you start now, then you begin to build a wealth that you may never get to really enjoy. But you're drawing a line in the sand to change your family's future for generations to come. And every person in this room, no matter how old or young, can absolutely 100% do the things it takes to become financially free in America. And that blew my mind because I realized that I could then build independence in a way that I had never known I could do before. And he said, the best time to start is now. And if you can't start now, the best time to start is where you're at tomorrow. Let me cut that out. I couldn't fathom the power of having the kind of money that guy talked about in class. And when I left that class, I was so excited that all I thought about was big numbers and big figures for years and years, until I finally came to the realization that what I am doing is causing myself to chase money, when what I really should do is set up a plan, live my life, and chase goals. And the money will eventually build to a place of freedom, because when you have a plan in place, it cannot deviate from that if you don't let it. Money does what you tell it to, and it will put yourself in position to be prepared for opportunity and build and expand when opportunity presents itself. So the thing we got to do now is, once you're set a plan to get debt free, and once you're debt free, then accelerate that plan so that we can begin to get your money working for you, so that you're not just trading time for dollars anymore. You're beginning to outpace inflation and choosing a side to be on, whether that's I'm going to build a business or I'm going to become an investor. Either or have a lot better tax benefits than staying in the employee side bracket, where you're paying actually the biggest chunk of your money towards taxes that's possible. You're taxed at a rate that's higher than anybody else when you work and trade your time for money. So we got to work towards you stopping to do that, and you got to begin to develop your plan of how and when you want to get there, and importantly, what you want it to look like when you do get there, because that's going to be the key, guys. How you want your life to be lived determines the financial level of which you need to achieve, determines how long it's going to take you to get there. Think about this. You can never, ever get somewhere if you don't know where you're going. And I've talked about this in other videos, but let's talk about Theodore Johnson for a minute. Theodore Johnson was a man who worked for UPS his entire life. But somehow, by the time he passed, he left a fortune of a sum of $70 million to his family. Now, if you work driving a brown truck in a factory for your entire life, you may build an incredible life for your family because UPS has great stock benefits. It's a great employer to work for. But how many UPS people, employees, drivers, do you know that have amassed a fortune of $70 million? The thing is that he didn't earn any more than any other person that worked with him. He just decided, because he was told by a friend, that you should take a portion, 15% as a matter of fact, of what you make right off the top before you spend it and put it into UPS stock. Theodore said, well, I can't do that because I'm living off of everything right now and I'm barely making it with that. And his friend said simply this, Theodore, if you had to pay today, if the government made you pay a 15% hike on your taxes, you would make that happen, wouldn't you? Yeah, well, just treat this like a tax. And he did, and that allowed him to set up a plan that has changed both his family's life for generations and other people's lives he's impacted now, because his family set up a fund to give that money away every year, because now the principal is growing so many seeds. It's producing so much fruit. That principal from that wealth tree is producing so much fruit that they're able to take the proceeds, never touch the principal, and invest it in so many things it's not even funny. And Theodore never owned a business in his life. Now, that is the power of compounding your money. And that's what you've got to begin with, especially if you're beginning at a young age. The other piece of it is there's a story of an island man. And this island man took a portion of his money and he invested it. And then he took a portion of his life and put himself to work in his investment and built up a business of which he was eventually able to step away from. And it ran like clockwork without him there. And so the island man, the reason I call him that is because he was able then to go buy a sailboat, take off down to the beautiful Bahamas, Bora Bora, and all those tropical places, and sail around the world for the rest of his years. And every year he would come back, he would sail into port, he would go to his financial advisor, and he would check his money. And he would say, how's it doing? And every year, because he put in the time to build the right proper foundation, he would have more money than he needed to live off of that year. And he would put the rest back in to the principal, and he would go back out and live his life on the ocean again. All he did was take a portion of his life and put it into the investment, and he was able to choose then to live the rest of his life the way he wanted to. And so that's the beginning foundations there. You can choose to either be the UPS man or be the island guy, but you got to choose one path, because if you don't make your money work for you, you will never ever see independence. Look, here's a great book for you. I just want you to embrace the fact that you can have financial freedom in life. And I told you at the end of this I would give you a few recommendations if you stuck around. This is an incredible book. It's called Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. I've read it. I love it. I implore you to, if you are somebody who's incredibly busy and you don't see how you can find the time to build a plan, read this book. It'll help you develop your own plan that you can then put to work immediately and start building your financial success. The other thing is, guys, if you do choose, if you are a person that wants to build financial freedom through a business of your own, and you just have no idea where to begin, you have no money, you have little time, or the money you have, you want to make sure that you don't invest in the wrong place. I don't know everything, but I do know this. I have an incredible book to give away. If you go to therobbreview.com, it's in the description down below the video. You will find yourself the receiver of an incredible book that you will then be able to flip through and understand the best businesses to build moving forward that will put you in a position to build financial stability in this world of instability that we live in today. With that, if you're watching on YouTube, please like this video if it helped you. Leave a comment down below of the steps you're going to take today, the first one step you're going to take to begin to set up your financial plan to build financial freedom. And if you found this helpful, click the little notification icon so that you can be informed when we put out new videos. We're putting out pretty much a video a day right now, so you can find incredible mentorship and all the kinds of things that we do here on the Robb Review to help you build your independence.